What up, everyone? Welcome back. It's the Ben Oberg Show, and I'm Ben Oberg. I've got Antonio White with me, the pitch freak. I've had the pleasure of meeting Antonio in person. This guy is a phenomenal salesperson, and the reason he's so successful is because he cares about the people that he's working with. Now, he's produced hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars in results for his clients, probably even more. That might be an understatement. And what I'd like to do, Antonio, is there's obviously a lot of people that have been absolutely decimated by what's gone on. Here in Idaho, we haven't had it as bad as, a lot of other states, but 35 million Americans filing for unemployment, businesses on the brink of like, hey, I got to file for bankruptcy, or I need more leads, I need more sales. What can these people do? What can these businesses do to increase their sales, or, the foot traffic that's coming in? How can they go from closing 10 people to closing 20 with just a few little simple strategy changes?
Oh my gosh. Well, okay. That's a great question. And one of the things that I love to do, especially for retailers, especially the retailers are getting really hit very hard right now. You need to be looking at your ways in which you bring people in the door. And one of the most undervalued ways in which retailers can bring people in is through window displays. And so here's the funny thing. You've got Big Ben Oberg here, who's the king of digital marketing here. And you got the pitch freak here, who's working on large scale technology products, but an untapped resource that no technology company has is an actual live window facing the street.
Sure.
And so the degree that you guys can actually make a presentation, a welcoming, if you will, to people who are on the street, to make sure that they know that, number one, you're in business, and number two, you have something that they want. And so, and then make it an experience when they walk in the door. How do you lead them through a series of stories? And so your window is a story that you tell the audience. It's something that is going to attract and engage and offer value. So whether it's a liquor store, by the way, it can be a liquor store, it can be a gift card shop, it can be a beauty supply company, it could be a nail salon. It does not matter. If you have a window, you have an incredible opportunity to connect to people that are just walking on the street.
Wow. Absolutely. So that's phenomenal, because I look at, downtown Boise, and every business has a window. Very few, though, have an advertisement on the window, and it's free. It doesn't cost any. They're already renting the building. Put some paint on it, put a logo on it, do whatever. Like, they've got, so now they get the customers in the door. What next?
Well, just to wrap up that, put that little bow on that. Think about Christmas and the holidays, right? And each holiday situation, everybody gets crazy with their windows, right? Or if it's a Super Bowl, or if it's 4th of July, people do some kind of window type display, right? Mm-hmm. The problem is, why aren't they doing that every month?
Yeah.
Why aren't they making that a regular opportunity? And what happens is people just drop it off. They do it twice or 3 times a year, and then that's it. But you can be doing it every month, because what happens is people need to see new things. If they're walking down the same neighborhood on a regular basis, they need to see new information to activate your brain and to get their attention. So if they're familiar with what your window looks like, they can almost pass your store by without even thinking about you. And so the idea is you want something that's going to get their attention. And so what you want to do is find out what is your best selling product. What is a product that everybody wants, and create a theme, like a stage for a play or like a movie set. What can you do with your window to make this product seem incredibly special? Look at great retailers. Look at Tiffany and Company. Look at great retailers that are out there. They're doing amazing things with their window to create, even tiny windows can have an amazing impact to create a tiny story that brings people in. And once they come in, the idea is, how are they welcomed? How are they greeted? Do they feel important? If you have people there who just allow people to walk in without a greeting, that's a big opportunity that's being missed. The idea is, not only can you welcome somebody in, but you can offer them something that you, Ben, can't do, and that I can't do with these giant multi-million-dollar launches that we do, is we can't offer somebody a cup of coffee. We can't offer somebody a cup of tea. We can't give them a biscuit or a Danish or a croissant or what have you, or a cookie, right? Any kind of retailer, especially retailers in Boise, could be doing that right away and making that experience special. There is nothing like being asked for a cup of coffee. And by the way, you get nice suits. We're casual today, but when you go get a nice suit, what do you get? Can I get you a glass of champagne, Mr. White? Right? What can I get for you? Why
Absolutely.
Can't the local vendors be doing the same thing? Perhaps not champagne necessarily, but sometimes why not? right? There's things that you can do to create an experience. Hospitality for retailers, especially here on Main Street, is the absolute number one advantage that you have to keep Amazon at bay.
Absolutely. I could not agree more with that, because, and it's funny that you mentioned with the online, with the digital products, you can't do the coffee, tea, donuts. You can't, but you kind of can, because what I do is when somebody buys my very like initial lowest ticket product, it's like $47. Before they access it, there's a pattern interrupt, and it's like, hey, it's Ben here, and I know you just bought the Facebook ads program, but before you actually get in there, I got a random weird question. Do you like coffee, tea, or donuts? And they have a checkbox, and then it automatically goes to a spreadsheet, and I've already got their address collected because they paid, right? And so what we'll do is we'll either send them a digital, here's your Starbucks card, here's your Dunkin' Donuts, here's your whatever, or we'll mail it. And that is like mind blowing, especially in the digital product space. People don't expect to get a gift card in the mail. But with what you said here, with the experience that people can have, there's a salon that I go to when I feel like having my hair cut, which isn't that often. And can I get you champagne?
That's right.
It's like, and that blew me away because I didn't expect that. I'm here to get my hair cut. They're going to talk to me, ask me a bunch of stuff that I don't even care to answer. And that's it. Then I'm going to leave. Can I get you some first question? Would you like some champagne? What kind would you like? I'm like, wow, that's crazy. Go to a car dealership and they assume like I'm still, decently young looking. If I trim my beard, I look like a toddler. And I come in, I'm like, I'm here to look at a new Corvette. Of course you are. No, I'm here to, do you have money? Like immediately start, oh my gosh.
Right. Yeah,
oh my gosh.
People are not focused on building relationships, and they're focused on, look, imagine the same situation where you walk in and you don't even have the money to buy something, but somebody in a beautiful suit here who's charge of the showroom says, hey, let's hop in the car. Hop in, get a feel for it. You might not even be old enough to drive, for instance, but you hop on this car. Imagine the experience of hopping in this car and the relationship that was just built by somebody showing you some respect. Somebody showing you some care and having some fun with you. You're going to, when you get the money to buy a car, you are going to go back to that person because they made an impression upon you, right?
Yes.
You can talk about how you can't wait for them to get their license, how you can't wait for all the money they're going to be making because you want to be their number one car dealer. All these fun things that you can do with these people. The key thing too, by the way, is you need to get ramped up for this, COVID. After COVID is completely, out and we are back in action here, you need a game plan up front, so that when you're promoting on social media, when you're getting out there in Nextdoor, by the way, which people should be promoting on Nextdoor as crazy people, right? What are things that people can do to celebrate this being over and us being able to be reconnected again? One of the things that they can be able to do is throw these little mini parties, right? This idea of, welcome back. This idea. So anything that you can do to offer people a great experience and make them feel cared and welcome for is going to put you so far ahead of everybody else. As long as you're making sure that the products that you have, and by the way, you said, how do I compete with other people? Well, if I have a competitor that is $10 less than me, but I'm presenting an amazing experience and I'm delivering key value here, that $10 is my margin. And I've earned that margin by creating a great experience for my audience. And by the way, your customers have to be building margin, especially small businesses and retailers. They need to be focusing on margin. They need to be a margin leader in their areas and not a low margin leader, a high margin leader, because that's the only way to continue to deliver sustainable quality customer service.
Absolutely. Price doesn't sell, value sells.
That's right.
While we have a few minutes left here, I've got a couple other things that I want to get in here. So how important is it to have your team on the same page? You could be the solopreneur. You could be running a Verizon store. You could be the lead realtor for Remax or Sotheby's or whatever. So if you've got a team, if you've got a sales team, if you have people, how important is it to have everybody from the janitor who has to do the phenomenal job of cleaning all the way to the general sales manager and anybody in between? How important is it that they're all on the same page and understand this?
Ben, that's such a critical question, and you've built such an amazing team. You're a perfect example of the benefits of building a great team. And early on, when I started off in my career, I was doing everything by myself, and it was a pain, and it was difficult, and it was hard because you're doing the sales, then you're doing the accounting, and then you're doing the production. right?
Yep.
And if you're doing a retailer, then you're dealing with retailers and distributors, and you're dealing with all the tax issues that you have to deal with. It's so hard. The key lesson, if I could offer anybody advice here, is to get a team together. Number one, just having a team will absolutely exponentially support you and help you build. And there's a way in which you can build a team that does not have to cost you your entire business. You can build fans and turn those fans into supporters of yours and build a team based upon supporters. There's another way to do it, especially if you're online, and to build a community of people. And the way to do that is by focusing on, again, on value. But if you have a team here, especially folks to help you with your calendar, especially folks to help you plan ahead, if you are not dealing with a team, you're dealing on a day-to-day basis of putting out fires. When you get a team, you get the opportunity to think a day ahead, or a week ahead, or a month ahead, or a year ahead. And that absolutely can set you apart from somebody else who's not taking the time, the opportunity to build a team.
Absolutely. I love that. Pure value, guys, here on the Ben Oberg Show from Antonio White. So before we wrap this up here, give us an example of maybe somebody or a company that you worked with that was at a certain level, certain industry, they implemented these things. And if you would, share with us some of those results that they had.
I love it. Let me give you a great case study here. It's one of my favorites. It's a company called Ideal Restoration. They're in San Francisco, and it's very timely because this is during the 2008 crisis that we had. So folks that are dealing with crisis and wondering what they can do right now to get out of it is a great tale. Jacqueline Carpenter is basically just took over the company from her father, Butch Carpenter, who was a Marine veteran in Vietnam. Amazing guy, a foundational member of this industry, which is restoration industry. And it started off with carpet cleaning. And during 2008, the company and the whole, America was having a big trouble with just generating revenue to begin with, right? And so the company was having very big problems. They were in the hole quite a bit each month, at least, over $75,000 a month in the hole. And they had 40 people on staff and a thriving business that was just taken over by the next generation. So basically the company passed from Butch to his daughter, Jacqueline. Luckily enough, we were able to connect and come up with a game plan for them. One of the things that they were doing is they were offering way too many services. So basically, if your house floods or your business floods, they come in and they do the restoration to get your house clean in order to get rid of the mold, get rid of the mildew, dry up all the water and so on. But they were also offering a series of other types of services at the time that were spreading themselves too thin. Also, their geographic territory where they were offering their service was way too much. So we did something called Pareto Principle, and we applied Pareto Principle to them. We found out that 20% of their customers were responsible for 80% of the revenues. And from there, we were able to determine that water damage specifically was one of the most important businesses that they could offer. And so we scrapped every business other than water damage and focused completely on that and built a brand around water damage restoration. And we came up with a 3-word pitch that's generated them millions and millions of dollars since. I think they're well over $5 to $8 million today on a regular basis. And those 3 words were water damage deleted. So when it comes to the idea of Ideal Restoration, water damage deleted, you know exactly what they do. We even changed their brand, their uniforms. People in that space would look like janitors, high school janitors. No offense against high school janitors here, but for Ideal Restoration, we built their team. They look like the Navy SEALs coming in to solve a water damage problem. So we put them in Navy style colors and uniforms tied to that. And it's really important from a brand perspective, when you bring in folks who are specialists in water damage and they look like the Navy just came in to solve your water problems versus a bunch of janitors here with some hard hats, it's a no-brainer. From that, by the way, we were able to focus on a margin for them that helped them to create even more advantages against their competition. And they were competing against national change. And this is a local organization, family-owned, competing against national change and crushing it in San Francisco. So focus on customers, focus around your key offering here, and absolutely make sure everything that you do around your business focuses around that key concept that brings them the most value and brings you the most margin.
That should be turned into some sort of rap song. That was the most value that you could have squeezed out in like 200 seconds. Where can everybody get more information from you? What products do you have to offer? What's going to help the listeners here on the Ben Oberg Show? And where can they find you, Antonio?
I appreciate it, Brandon. Thanks again for the opportunity, by the way.
Absolutely.
for us, if you go to pitchfreaks.com here, we're going to make available a free 3-day pitch program here. We call it the 3-day perfect pitch. It's free for folks to gather here. You can learn how to pitch in 3 days like a pro. We teach you about how to articulate your value, how to build emotion, and how to do natural language call to actions. We also have a series of courses that we're offering from as low as $3,000 up to $50,000, depending upon your need, to take you from everything what we call incubator level, from startups to existing businesses with ideas. We call those catalysts, in which case you're going to get live training and coaching for top operators in the business. So these are not just video calls. These are video calls with live coaching from actual operators doing the work right now. So we think that if you're trying to establish your pitch, if you get your pitch right, everything else builds upon that. Your ad campaigns, all of your videos, all of your content marketing, everything ties together with a similar theme to help you absolutely exponentially increase the effectiveness of your branding, your promotions, and obviously your sales and profits.
Wow.
So pitchfreaks.com is where you get it. And I'm on
That's
IG.
Great.
Everything's Pitch Freaks. IG on online here. Pitch Freaks community on Facebook. We'd love to have you guys involved.
Appreciate that. Pitchfreaks.com, guys. Really appreciate it, Antonio. It's been a pleasure, guys. When we come back from break, you're going to be talking about more of implementing Antonio's strategies, what you guys can do to get more leads, get more sales, regardless of what industry you're in. All when we come back from this brief message.